The huge round room was quiet. 50 alien leaders sat in tall chairs that formed a circle. In the middle stood John Miller, the human ambassador. His face showed no emotion, but his hands were tight fists at his sides. The alien with blue skin and 4 eyes had just finished speaking. His name was Zork, leader of the Xilarians. "Humans are still too wild and unpredictable," he said. "We cannot give them full rights in our Galactic Council. They must remain as watchers only, not full members." This was the 5th time in 50 years that humans had asked to join as equals. For 50 years, aliens had used their technology, taken their medicines, and even had humans fight in their wars. But humans were still treated like children at the adults' table. Miller looked at Susan, his helper. She gave a small nod. They knew what would happen next. They had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but Earth's leaders had been clear. If rejected again, they would use Plan Omega. "Friends," Miller said, his voice steady and strong. The word friends made some aliens shift in their seats. "For 50 years, we humans have played by your rules. We have given you our best medicines that save millions of your people. We have shared the engines that make your ships fly faster than light. We have even sent our soldiers to die in your wars." The room was very quiet now. No one moved. "And still, you treat us like we are less than you." Miller stood taller. "So today, I tell you that humanity is leaving the Galactic Council. We cancel all deals, all trade, and all help. We will go back to our solar system. In 30 days, we will close our borders to all of you." The silence broke like a dam. Aliens jumped up, shouting in 20 different languages. Some looked afraid. Others looked angry. The head of the council, a tall female alien with silver skin, hit her metal staff on the floor. "Quiet," she shouted. When the noise died down, she looked at Miller with narrow eyes. "You cannot just walk away. The papers you signed have punishments for leaving." For the first time in months, Miller smiled. It was not a happy smile. "Actually, we can. Since you never let us be full members, we signed different papers than you. Our smart lawyers found this way out years ago. We've been getting ready for this day since we first came here." The silver alien's mouth opened, but no words came out. Miller and Susan turned and walked out of the room. Behind them, red lights started flashing, and loud alarms rang through the space station. Miller knew that in a few hours, every planet in the galaxy would hear the news. The humans had finally had enough. They were going home. As they walked to their ship, Susan asked, "Do you think they'll try to stop us?" Miller shook his head. "They can't. They need us more than we need them. They just don't know it yet." Their ship, the Earth Star, waited in the docking bay. All around them, aliens ran in panic, already spreading the word. "Send the message to all human ships," Miller told Susan. "Operation Homebound begins now." Across the galaxy, thousands of human ships received the code. Captains looked at each other with surprise, then determination. It was time to go home. The Earth Star lifted off, its engines glowing blue. Behind them, the Council Station grew smaller, its alarms still blaring uselessly in the silence of space. 2 weeks passed since humans said they were leaving. Now the aliens began to feel the pain. Patricia Jones sat at her big desk on Earth. As the person in charge of Earth's money and trade, she looked at the reports with a small smile. "The Aurelian money system has crashed. They lost 60% of their value," said Alan, her helper. He pointed to colorful charts on the screen. 3 big alien banks have no money left, and the Regelian medicine makers are begging us to sell them our drugs again. Patricia nodded. The aliens had never realized how much they needed humans. While the Council gave humans no power to vote, humans had built something more important: economic power. Human-made tiny robots that cured diseases were used in 7 out of 10 hospitals across all alien worlds. Special parts made by humans were in almost every spaceship. And most importantly, the rare metals from Earth's 12 colony worlds had been sold very cheaply as a sign of friendship. What about helping regular alien people who might get sick? Patricia asked. Alen showed her another report. We've found ways to get important medicines to regular alien families. This isn't about hurting ordinary people, just making the council leaders feel the pressure. On Galtar Prime, the main council world, Earth's leader Karen Rogers met with Admiral Greg Phillips on the big human ship named Star Victory. The council says we are attacking them with economics, Karen said. Greg shrugged. We're just taking our things and going home. They spent 50 years telling us we weren't good enough. They never thought we would just stop playing their game. All across the galaxy, human ships were heading back to Earth. As news spread, aliens rushed to stores, buying everything they could before human goods disappeared. Shelves were empty on 1,000 worlds. Some alien ships were already coming to Earth, asking for emergency meetings. The first to arrive was a ship from the bird-like Avari. Their leader, with colorful feathers and a sharp beak, bowed low to Patricia Jones. Please, the Avari leader said, our children need your medicines. What do you want in return? Patricia looked at the alien with calm eyes. Equal treatment. No more, no less. In a dusty bar on a far space station, two aliens talked in low voices. How did we not see this coming? Asked the green one with 3 eyes. The tall, thin alien with gray skin sipped a blue drink. We thought the humans needed us. Turns out, we needed them. On their screens, they watched as human cargo ships filled with valuable goods left the station. Prices for everything were already going up. Workers who ran the human-built machines stood idle, not knowing how to fix them without human help. Do you think they'll come back? Asked the green alien. The gray one laughed without humor. Would you come back to people who treated you like dirt for 50 years? Back on Earth, in the big round room where world leaders met, President Olivia Martinez spoke to representatives from all human colonies. For too long, we tried to please those who would never see us as equals, she said. No more. We will trade only with those who respect us. We will help only those who treat us fairly. The room filled with cheers and applause. On screens across the galaxy, aliens watched with growing fear. The mighty Galactic Council, ruler of 1,000 worlds for 10,000 years, was facing something new, a species that simply did not need their approval anymore. And that terrified them more than any war ever could. Admiral Henry Scott stood by the big window on the moon's main military base. He watched as thousands of human warships gathered above Earth. Great ships of all sizes formed lines in space, their metal hulls shining in the sunlight. Almost 3,000 warships had answered the call to come home. Status report, he said. Colonel Laura Bell looked at her screen. 94% of our ships have returned from Council space. The rest are helping the last humans leave faraway research stations. All our people will be home within a week. Scott nodded. And our border defense systems. The soul barrier is ready. All 7 entry points into our solar system have our new Sentinel defense platforms guarding them. For many years, the Galactic Council had not allowed humans to use their best defense technology. The aliens had always said such weapons were too dangerous and would upset the balance of power. Now, free from those rules, humans were showing what they could really do. Far away on the Council's main military station called Apex Command, alien military leaders watched their screens with growing fear. New reports were coming in about human technology. They'd been hiding their true strength, whispered Admiral Zax of the lizard-like Draconians. His scales turned pale as he spoke. These defense systems, they're hundreds of years more advanced than what they shared with us. Before leaving Apex Command, General Beth Turner, the human who used to work with the aliens, had given them one last message. Humans never wanted to fight, she explained in her recording. That's why we accepted your limits. But make no mistake, we planned for the worst while hoping for the best. The alien commanders watched videos of Earth's soul barrier turning on, a huge shield of energy that wrapped around the entire solar system. Their scientists had always said such a shield was impossible to build. Should we worry about humans attacking us? Asked a furry alien commander with 6 eyes. In the recording, Turner smiled sadly. We don't want to conquer anyone. We just want to be left alone. But if anyone tries to enter our solar system without being invited, they won't like what happens. Back on the moon base, Admiral Scott and Colonel Bell walked through the underground command center. Hundreds of humans worked at screens, monitoring the returning fleet. Do you think they'll try to force us back? Bell asked quietly. Scott shook his head. They can't. Not now that they've seen what we can really do. On a small screen nearby, they could see an alien news broadcast. An 8-limbed news reporter stood in front of empty store shelves. The human withdrawal continues to cause problems across Council space, the alien said. Today, the High Council announced emergency meetings to discuss the crisis. Bell smiled. 50 years they kept us waiting in the hallway, and now they can't handle 3 weeks without us. Scott looked at the great map of the galaxy on the wall. Thousands of stars, millions of worlds. For too long, humans had tried to be part of something that never truly welcomed them. It's time we made our own path, he said. Just then, an alarm sounded. A junior officer rushed up to them. Sir, we've detected 20 Council warships approaching the outer edge of our system. Scott and Bell exchanged looks. The moment of truth had come sooner than expected. Power up the soul barrier, Scott ordered. Let's show them exactly what happens when they push humans too far. The barrier hummed to life, a beautiful blue glow surrounding the entire solar system. Inside, humanity waited to see what the aliens would do next. But for the first time in 50 years, they waited not with hope for acceptance, but with the quiet confidence of a people who had found their strength. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer a place of order and quiet talks. Now it looked more like a busy market. Alien representatives shouted over each other, making deals and forming new friendships as they tried to fix the problems caused by humans leaving. Meanwhile, in a safe building on Mars, Director Frank Wilson of Human Intelligence looked at incoming messages with his team. We've gotten unofficial requests to talk from 27 different alien species, reported his helper, Diana Lee. Most are Council members acting on their own, not following the Council's orders. Wilson nodded. They're breaking apart already. Any surprises in who's reaching out? The Vrel have offered us special mining rights in their space clouds if we start sending them medicine again, Lee said. The Octeri want to trade all their technology with us. And the Andorians, who used to criticize us the most in the Council, now say they'll support us becoming full members if we return. Wilson laughed. Funny how they change their minds when their money is disappearing. Earth's President Olivia Martinez had made humanity's position clear in her speech. We will consider making friends with individual species who treat us as equals. The time of bowing to the Galactic Council is over. The Council's message team, led by Ambassador Elothax, had sent more and more desperate messages. Their latest message had dropped all their usual pride. Humans leaving is causing big problems everywhere. We are ready to give you full membership status right now. President Martinez's answer had been short. That offer expired 50 years ago. We don't want to join your council anymore. We are now taking offers from those who want to join ours. On the edge of human space, 20 Council warships faced the glowing blue barrier that protected Earth's solar system. Admiral Scott watched from his command ship as a message came in from the alien fleet. They're demanding we turn off the barrier, said Colonel Bell. They say it's against galactic law. Scott smiled. Send them our answer. A single human ship, small but fast, flew out through the barrier. It carried Ambassador John Miller, the man who had walked out of the Council chamber weeks ago. Miller's face appeared on screens across both fleets. Council ships, you are not welcome in this space. Your laws no longer apply to us. You have 1 hour to leave, or we will consider this an act of war. The alien commander, a tall blue-skinned being, looked shocked. You cannot threaten the Council fleet. We have 1,000 worlds behind us. Miller nodded. And we have the soul barrier in front of us. Your weapons cannot break it. Your ships cannot pass it. We've studied your technology for 50 years. We know all your weaknesses. You know none of ours. The alien ships didn't wait an hour. They turned and left within minutes. Back on Earth, President Martinez met with her team. The messages keep coming in, she told them. More species want to talk with us each day. Wilson showed her the latest intelligence reports. The council is falling apart. The smaller species are looking for a way out. They've seen that we stand up for ourselves. Martinez looked at the star map on the wall. Then let's give them somewhere better to go. It's time to build something new. She turned to her staff. Send out invitations to all species who wish to join us as equals. Tell them Earth is hosting the first meeting of the new interstellar cooperative. Across the galaxy, the message spread like wildfire. A new power was rising, one built on respect rather than age, on merit rather than tradition. And at its center stood the humans, who had finally stopped asking for a seat at the table and built their own instead. 6 months after humans left the council, the first meeting of free space species took place. Humans built a huge round space station near Earth for the meeting. Representatives from 32 space-traveling races, mostly smaller powers who had also felt pushed around by the council, came together to talk about making something better than the Galactic Council. Paul Clark, Earth's new head of talking to aliens, opened the meeting. Unlike the council, this group will be built on the idea that everyone is equal, he said to the crowded room. No species will have the power to stop others. No race will be called too young for full rights. We believe in what you can do, not how old you are. The smaller species, who had been ignored by the council for years, loved this new idea. The Galactic Council had ruled through the power of the 11 elder races who had been in space for thousands of years. They had controlled the younger species by keeping technology from them and making them depend on the elders for trade. Many of the aliens looked around the room with wonder. Species that had been enemies under council rule now sat together, talking as equals. Races that had never been allowed to meet were sharing ideas. Meanwhile, on the human colony world New Earth, scientist Lisa Gardner showed a group of alien researchers through humanity's biggest research center. For too long, the council stopped new technology that might change who had power, she explained. Here, all species who join us share knowledge equally. The alien scientists were amazed by what humans had made in secret: cures for sicknesses that hurt their people, energy technology that would end the need to fight over resources, ways to make dead planets into living worlds. Why would you share these freely? Asked a small green alien with one big eye. Gardner smiled. Because that's what equals do. We help each other grow. The council wanted servants. We want partners. As news of the meeting spread, more species began breaking ties with the council. The once powerful group was losing members faster than ever. Back in the meeting hall, a tall, thin alien with skin like tree bark spoke up. The council controlled us through fear and need. They gave us just enough to survive, but never enough to be free. How will your group be different? Paul Clark nodded. It was a fair question. We believe all species should be self-sufficient first, then work together by choice, not need. Our first act will be to share energy and food technology, so no world can be starved into obedience. This caused excited whispers around the room. For many species, the threat of losing food or fuel shipments had kept them in line for centuries. And what do humans want in return? Asked the tree-like alien. Friendship, fair trade, and a promise that when new races reach the stars, they too will be welcomed as equals, Clark said. A short, furry alien stood up. My people were denied medicine by the council because we couldn't pay their prices. Millions died. Will you treat us the same? Gardner stepped forward. We have already sent ships with medical supplies to your worlds. They should arrive within the week. The furry alien's eyes grew wide. Without payment. Some things are beyond price, Gardner said. This is how equals treat each other. By the end of the day, all 32 species had signed the new charter. The Interstellar Cooperative of Sovereign Species was born. Its first act was to send help to worlds suffering under Council rule. Across the galaxy, the news spread: join the humans and be treated as equals. More species began to pack their bags. 1 year had passed since humans walked away. The Galactic Council did something they had never done before. They called an emergency meeting at a neutral place, a space station at the edge of what people now called Human Alliance space. Council leader High Minister Vrillexax, a tall alien with purple skin and 6 arms, spoke to the much smaller group than before. Many seats were empty where representatives used to sit. "We face a threat to our very existence," he said, his voice shaking. The Human Alliance now includes 67 former Council species. Their combined economic and military power will soon be greater than our own. In orbit around Jupiter, Earth's Defense Council watched the meeting through their secret cameras. General Maria White, a tough woman with short gray hair, studied the Council's desperate offers on her screen. "They're offering to get rid of the elder race system," she noted. "Full voting rights for all members, sharing technology, everything." Secretary of Defense Daniel Young nodded. "Everything we asked for originally." But they're a year too late. Across Council space, people were protesting on dozens of worlds. Regular citizens demanded their governments join the Human Alliance. They had seen how well people lived in Alliance space. Medical treatments that used to be only for the rich and powerful were now available to everyone in the Alliance. Worlds that never had enough resources now had plenty of energy. On the neutral space station, Ambassador Carl Peterson, a tall man with a calm face, gave Earth's answer to the Council's offers. "We appreciate that the Council is willing to change. However, Earth has moved in a different direction. We welcome individual Council species to apply for Alliance membership, but we don't want to join or merge with the Council." The Council members were shocked. They had thought humans just wanted to force changes. The idea that humans had completely moved on, that they no longer needed or wanted the Council's approval, was something the ancient species who had ruled galactic politics for thousands of years couldn't understand. "What do they want?" asked the Arcturian delegate, a being made of living crystal. Peterson's answer was simple: "Nothing from you. That's what you don't understand. Humanity finally accepted that we don't need your approval to know our worth." Back on Earth, President Martinez met with the Inner Council. Reports showed that 15 more Council worlds were preparing to leave and join the Human Alliance. "They never thought we could build something better," Martinez said. "They thought we needed them." On the Council's main world, riots had broken out. Regular people demanded access to human medicines and technology. The Council had always told them that humans were dangerous and primitive. Now they knew the truth. The Council leader Vrillexax called an emergency meeting with just the 11 elder races. For thousands of years, these ancient species had ruled the galaxy. "We must take military action," said the Draxus representative, a predator species with sharp teeth. "We cannot allow this rebellion to continue." Vrillexax shook his head. "Our analysts say we would lose any war with the Human Alliance. Their technology is beyond ours now, and more of our members defect each day." "Then what can we do?" asked another elder. Vrillexax looked down at the table. "We must consider the unthinkable. We may need to ask to join their alliance." Silence fell over the room. The idea of the mighty elders bowing to humans, a species they had looked down on for decades, was almost too much to bear. Far away, on the edges of human space, a great fleet was gathering. But it was not a Council attack force. It was a convoy of ships from dozens of worlds, carrying representatives, scientists, and families, all coming to join the new center of galactic civilization. The balance of power had shifted, and all because humans had finally stopped asking for respect and had simply walked away to build something better. 5 years had passed since humans walked away from the Council. The galaxy looked very different now. The Human Alliance, now officially called the Interstellar Cooperative of Sovereign Species, included over 200 civilizations. The old Galactic Council, reduced to just the 11 elder races and a few loyal followers, had become a small, weak power in a distant corner of the galaxy. On the 5th anniversary of humans leaving, people celebrated on every human world. The day had become a holiday, like Independence Day, but for the whole galaxy. In New Washington on Earth, President Ryan Wells stood before a huge crowd. Around him were visitors from hundreds of different alien species, tall ones, short ones, ones with many arms, ones that floated in the air, and every other kind you could imagine. 5 years ago, humanity made the hard choice to walk away from a system that didn't value us, he said. We didn't know then that so many others felt the same way. We only knew that we deserved better. The gathered aliens clapped their hands, waved their tentacles, or flashed their colors in applause. Many had similar stories of being looked down on by the Council. Our cooperative now handles 60% of all trade in the galaxy. Our scientists working together have cured diseases that hurt our worlds for hundreds of years. No one goes hungry on 37 member worlds because of our shared energy technology, and our combined defense fleet has kept peace through strength and unity. In a quiet corner of the celebration, Ambassador John Miller, the man who had walked out of the council chamber 5 years earlier, shared a drink with his old helper, now Vice President Susan Wright. "Did you ever think it would turn out like this?" Wright asked. Miller looked out at the diverse gathering. Former enemies now friends. Advanced civilizations working with young ones as equals. "I hoped we would find our own path," he said. "But I never dreamed so many would choose to walk it with us." On the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Council met in their small chamber. Most of their great ships had been shut down because they couldn't afford to run them. Their economies had stabilized, but were now tiny compared to before. The council leader, his voice lacking its former power, spoke to the small group. "Perhaps it is time we formally asked to join the cooperative." Everyone agreed without argument. When the request reached Earth, it was handled like any other. No special treatment, no jumping ahead in line. The former rulers of the galaxy would need to apply just like any other species and agree to treat everyone as equals. 2 weeks later, a human ship landed on the Council's main world. A young human diplomat named Lisa Chen stepped out to meet the once mighty elder races. "We've reviewed your application," she said. "The cooperative has voted to accept you as equal members, no more and no less." The council leader bowed his head. "We understand. We have much to learn." Chen smiled. "That's a good start." Across the galaxy, a new saying had become popular among spacefaring species. The humans taught us that sometimes you must walk away to move forward. The council had feared human weapons for decades. In the end, it wasn't human guns that changed the galaxy. It was simply their willingness to walk away and build something better. As Chen's ship left the council world, she looked back at the planet. The mighty rulers who had once looked down on humans were now joining the civilization that humans had built. Sometimes the greatest power comes not from force, but from having the courage to walk away and start anew.